Time to shift focus over to West Asia as 2 rockets were fired from the Gaza Strip at Israel's capital city of Tel Aviv. The Israeli army retaliated, but an assessment says armed factions in Gaza may have launched the rockets involuntarily. As Israel approaches national elections, tension keeps running high on the Gaza borders. And our West Asia Bureau Chief Daniele Pagani sends us this report.
For the first time since the Gaza-Israel war in 2014, 2 rockets were launched from the Palestinian enclave against Israel's capital city, Tel Aviv. Residents of the city reached the shelters for safety.
I heard the rocket and I heard the siren going off. It was a bit surprising. I didn't think that, it could really reach Tel Aviv. And then I heard an explosion about, 20-30 seconds later.
The rockets landed in isolated areas and no casualties or injuries were reported, but the action triggered an Israeli Defense Forces immediate reaction. Israeli aircraft took off and bombed what the country's military say was Hamas facilities inside Gaza. 4 buildings were hit, but no casualties were reported as Hamas had carried out preemptive evacuation. Most of the strikes were reported close to Rafah, the southern Gaza border with Egypt. A few rockets were launched from Gaza in response to the attack, but Israeli missile defense system Iron Dome intercepted them all. Israeli forces say one of the buildings hit was the headquarters of Hamas operations in the West Bank, where the Islamist political party is gaining a stronger foothold. The Palestinian Ministry of Health said Israeli airstrikes injured 2 people. The Israeli government holds Hamas responsible for every attack, but this time the Islamist organization and all armed factions active in the Strip denied responsibility. Hamas usually claims all its military actions. Spokesperson for the organization said this attack took place when their leadership was in Egypt to negotiate a truce with Israel. Sources say the action was taken against the national consensus and an investigation is currently underway. Political organizations in Gaza have called off today's weekly protest on the border to avoid further escalation. An Israeli army's preliminary assessment seems to align with Hamas' version. The IDF considers possible that rockets were mistakenly fired during maintenance works. But the country's politicians are in full campaigning mode. Israel is going to the polls in less than a month, and Gaza is among the most heated topics in every election. Israel's hawkish right-wing security minister Naftali Bennett called for stronger action against Hamas.
About an hour ago, 2 rockets were shot from the Gaza Strip onto Tel Aviv. This continues about a year of rockets shot from the Gaza Strip on the citizens of southern Israel. It's time to defeat Hamas. It's time to act and unilaterally demilitarize Hamas in order to defend Israeli citizens.
Tensions have been running very high in the last year between Israel and Gaza, with the 2 enemies often reaching the brink of war. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been criticized by many Israelis for being too tolerant in countering Hamas. Netanyahu is facing trial for corruption and also confronted by a growing center-left coalition. Hence, he's courting the Israeli right wing in order to try to secure a mandate for the 5th time. But dialogue with Hamas may not be the best way to convince them.
Israel is going to the polls very soon. On April the 9th, citizens will be called to vote for a new prime minister or to confirm the current prime minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is struggling because he faces trials for corruption and his coalition doesn't seem to be the favored coalition to win election. Every kind of escalation, particularly when it comes to Gaza, something for which the prime minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been criticized, risks being politicized in this atmosphere of electoral campaigning and risks becoming something way more dangerous than what it actually is. Daniele Pagani, reporting from Jordan for Wion, World is One.